Just want to have good production done. All right.
Are you ready for us?
Yeah.
Secretary, I'm from Topeka, Kansas. There was a controversial shooting with a younger black man there, so your comments actually really sparked my interest. Can you explain a little bit what your ideas, if you're president, toward what you were talking about in terms of that issue?
Yeah. Everybody out there sees video after video after video. We can't deny what we see with our own eyes, that too oftentimes, especially young black men, are treated differently from others when it comes to police. Excessive force is used on them. I have a police reform plan that would make sure there's one national use of force standard that says a police officer should only use lethal force if they've exhausted all other reasonable alternatives in a situation. We would end the militarization of police departments. We would work with Congress to prohibit racial profiling and also stop and frisk. And we would invest in community groups that are working to mend the rift between police and some communities in the United States. So create law enforcement that treats everybody the same way. That's what I'd like to do.
Secretary Castro, the FEC filing deadlines today. Have you been briefed on your second quarter fundraising numbers? Can you give us some insight on that?
Today, we'll report that we raised 2.5 times what we raised in quarter one. In quarter one, I raised $1.1 million. In quarter two, I raised just over $2.8 million. So I've said from the very beginning that this campaign is getting stronger and stronger and stronger. Hey, I'm not near the top of the pack right now, but I did a lot better in quarter two than I did in quarter one. And where some campaigns have started to lose altitude, they're going backward in their fundraising. I'm getting stronger and stronger, and that's a great sign for the campaign.
Do you think that's from your performance in the debate?
Some of it is, sure, yeah. I think since the debate, we've raised over $1.5 million. They'll correct me if I'm wrong on that, but we've raised a lot of money since the debate quickly, and that's continuing. So quarter three will be better than quarter two. I know that right now I'm not near the front of the pack in fundraising, but we've also been lean. We've been smart about how we're running this campaign, and now we're getting to expand the number of people on the campaign, getting more reach in terms of the media, and getting more support out there in terms of people coming to these events.
Are you happy with those numbers, and do you think you can sustain that in the long term, given that you're not accepting PAC money?
I'm confident that we can do a lot better in quarter three than we did in quarter two, and we see the numbers getting better in quarter three than quarter two, and we have to get stronger. I want to keep making sure that we raise more money than we have before and get more political support than we have before, because what's going to happen in such a crowded race is you're going to have some campaigns that are falling backward and other campaigns like mine that are getting stronger. I don't need to be the hare. I'm content right now being the tortoise, but we need to get stronger, and we are doing that right now.
We've reached the point in the race around here where every week one or two candidates are stopping into Southeast Iowa. What differentiates you from the rest of the field?
I think what differentiates me is, number one, I've been fearless and bold with this campaign, whether it's been on immigration reform, police reform, housing. I also have strong executive experience, having served as the mayor of the 7th largest city and also Secretary of Housing. I have a vision for the future of our country that is strong and compelling and articulated differently from what anybody else is doing right now in the campaign. And I can beat Donald Trump. I can go and get those 75,000 votes that we lost by in Michigan, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania. And what makes me different is I'm the best hope, I believe, to get the electoral votes of places like Florida, Texas, and Arizona as well.
Should candidates be more I've covered a number of them already this cycle, and no one's really talking about the electoral map. They're talking about just in general, but you seem to be focusing on knowing those states and flipping those specific states. Should more candidates be talking about that?
Well, what we should be doing is making sure that we're visiting these states that we lost, and that's why I was in Flint, Michigan a month ago. I was in Wisconsin a few days ago and a couple of months ago. I'm going to be in Pennsylvania. I was just in Pennsylvania, and I'm going to be back there. We need to be going and competing in these states that we barely lost, and I'm going to go do that. I'm going to also speak to people that live in small towns and also big cities. I'm not giving up on any voter out there. And I've said very clearly that I want to be a president for all Americans. And I've gone to Utah, I've gone to Idaho, I've gone to Puerto Rico, I've gone to Tennessee, I've gone to Nebraska. I'm going to go everywhere to compete.
You talked a lot about jobs in the workforce. Right here in Lee County, it's one of the highest counties with the unemployment rate. There's a lot of skilled jobs, but not a lot of skilled workers. Is this something you're seeing all across the board? What do you plan to fix it?
Look, people know that we can take steps like invest in trade education in our high schools and have community colleges partner up with high schools so they can offer trade education. Whether it's in auto mechanics, in plumbing, in other trades, fill gaps that too often exist in the skill set of folks, especially in smaller town communities. We need to do that. At the same time, we also need to make public state universities, community colleges, and job training and certification programs tuition free so that no matter who you are, you're able to get that kind of education.
Has anything changed in your campaign since that first debate?
Well, it's getting bigger. We're adding staff in the states and also at the headquarters. We're getting a lot more media attention and a lot more people showing up at events. The heart of this campaign and being fearless and being bold and being positive for families across America stays the same. The vision that I have for this country stays the same, but our campaign is getting bigger and it's gaining more support.
This is the first time we've talked to you. Kind of tell us about your stance on healthcare.
I believe what we need to do is base our healthcare off of Medicare. We need to strengthen Medicare for the people who are on it and then make sure that everybody who wants it can get it. At the same time, if somebody has a private health insurance plan and they like it, they're comfortable with it, it's a strong plan, they should be able to hold on to it. We can have both of those things and serve all of the American people in a way that makes people proud.
One last, go ahead.
Senator Bennett today is calling for Senator Sanders, Senator Harris, and others to reconsider their Medicare for All plan. You don't support getting rid of a private option. Would you jump on that call to ask others to reconsider their plans?
Look, I respect the vision that Senator Sanders and others have, and I respect the vision that Vice President Biden has, but I believe that the best course is to make Medicare available to everybody and then to build on that by allowing supplemental private health insurance plans as well, that we can do both of those things.
What would you like to say to the voters that are watching at home today?
If I'm elected president, I'm going to keep my eye on the ball. Make sure that you have good health care when you need it, that your children, your grandchildren can get a good education so they can reach their dreams, and that you can have good job opportunities, whether you live in a small community like this one we're in today in Iowa or a big city anywhere in America. We need to make sure that we have an America where everybody can prosper, and that will be my first priority.
Here in Iowa, you talked about all the issues that Iowans like to hear about. You, in your talk, you went into quite a bit of detail. But the reaction to the debate seemed to be that a lot of Democrats want proof that a candidate will take on Donald Trump, and that proof would be by taking on the other Democrats. So did you see that as a sort of coming out of that first debate?
Look, well, a lot of people gave me credit for going into the debate and standing my ground and coming out on top. They saw that I can take on Donald Trump in a debate. The fact is there's a lot of anxiety among Democratic voters about whether the nominee is going to be able to stand up effectively to Donald Trump and come out on top. I think I showed them in that first debate that I can hold my own and that I can go toe-to-toe with Donald Trump.
Speaking of President Trump today, he doubled down on his tweets. When asked by a reporter if his tweets about 4 congresswomen of color were racist, he said, no, not at all. Do you think they were racist tweets?
Those were racist tweets. The president has been racist. We've seen throughout our country's history people who profited politically off of dividing people. People who said, no Irish need apply, or go back to Africa, or people who said, go back to Mexico, or the Chinese should be excluded. In every generation, there are people who try and divide Americans with hate and bigotry and fear and paranoia. That's what this president does. I believe that there are people of different backgrounds, of goodwill, that want to have compassion and understanding and work together to create a stronger America. And
do that, be united instead of be divided the way that this president does.
Thank you.
Yeah, all right. Thanks a lot.